This is a continuation of section 8.4, factoring quadratic trinomials. We are going to do the AC method. It's AC splitting the middle term. To do that, you have to multiply your A and your C together. And my A is 6, and then I'm going to multiply 45. You need a calculator to help you with this. 6 times 45 is 270. Now, if I was going to factor into two binomials, my signs would both be negative. So I want to find factors of 270 that add up to get 37. Well, I know that if a factor that ends with 10 always is 10 times the number in front of the zero. Or excuse me, a number that ends with 0 is always 10 times the number. And 10 plus 27 is 37. So those are the factors. So I am going to split the middle term. It doesn't matter which one you write first. Then I'm going to factor by grouping. Group my first two together. That negative has got to go inside. Group my last two together. I'm going to factor out a 2x, and I get 3x minus 5. Now, in the second term, I'm going to factor out a negative 3. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to factor out a negative 9. And I get 3x. And remember, when you factor out a negative, it changes the sign. So now I'm going to factor out a 3x minus 5 times 2x minus 9. Make sure that you still check to make sure you have the right middle term. And I do. Example 4a, before I can solve, I have to factor. So again, I'm going to split the middle term. Multiply 4 times 15, I get 60. Now, again, I know that's 10 times 6. What are my signs going to be? If the last sign is positive, that means they are both going to be whatever the first sign is. So they're both going to be positive. When I add 10 plus 6, I get 17. 10 plus 6 is 16, not 17, but I'm very close. So I'm going to try a number that's kind of close to 10. I'm going to try 12. 12 goes into 60 5 times. And 12 plus 5 is 17. So I'm going to split the middle term there. Group my first two together, group my last two together. I'm going to factor out a 4x, and I get x plus 3. I'm going to factor out a 5, and get x plus 3. Now I'm going to factor out an x plus 3. Okay, quick check. 5x, 12x is 17x. Now after I've checked, I'm not finished. I have to solve. So now I take each binomial and put equal to 0. Subtract 3. So I get x is equal to negative 3. I'm going to subtract 5. I can do this in my head. Then divide by 4. So x is equal to negative 5/4. This is number 22 on the worksheet. Again, I'm going to split my middle term. I'm going to do the AC method, which is 60. Now, this time, my signs are different. So I need to find factors that are going to subtract to get me 11. 10 times 6 is 60, but 10 minus 6 is 4. That doesn't work. 12 times 5 is 60, but 12 minus 5 is 7. That doesn't work. 14 doesn't go. I'm going to list in order all the factors Can't seem to erase this. Okay. Okay, that way I don't miss anything. Four times 15, that's it. 4 times 15. And 15 minus 4 is 11, so that's what I'm going to split the middle term. Now, which goes, and I have to have different signs, so I'm going to split this to positive 4x and a negative 15x. Because positive 4 and a negative 15 gives me negative 11. So make sure that you split it correctly. Group my middle term, put the negative inside, group the last term. I'm going to factor out a 2x and get 3x minus 2. I'm going to factor out a negative 5 and get 3x minus 2. Now my GCF is 3x minus 2 times 2x minus 5. Again, check, negative 15x. Oh, done something wrong here. That was never a negative. Oh, sorry. It was never a negative. Let me erase it. So I'm going to factor out a 5 and get 3x minus 2. When I checked, I knew I did something wrong. Now it's 15x minus 4x gives me 11x. Now there's still something wrong. It's supposed to be a negative 11x. So I had the signs wrong to begin with. So now I just change my signs. Now it should work. Yes. Number 29. The direction says to factor and solve. But before I factor, I have to get it equal to 0. So I've got to add 11x. So it's 6x squared plus 11x minus 10 is equal to 0. And this problem looks just like the problem number 22. So I'm not going to finish that one. The only difference is that you just need to solve. Except for my signs are going to be different. That's 15x and negative 4x is a positive 11x. Now I'll just put each one equal to 0. Add 2 and divide by 3. Subtract 5 and divide by 2. Okay, I'm going to do number 30 also. It's 15x squared minus 28 is equal to x. Okay, I've got to move the x over here. So that's 15x squared minus x minus 28 is equal to 0. I'm going to do the AC method, so I have to multiply 15 times 28, and I get 420. Now, I know that I have to find factors that subtract. The signs are going to be different. So I need to find factors that subtract and get 420. Well, I know right off the top 42 times 10. And 42 minus 10 is 32. And I need to subtract and get 1. So I need my numbers that are going to be closer. So I need a number let's say bigger than 10. So I'm going to try 15. 420 divided by 15 is 28 times 15. And when I subtract, I get 13. So I'm not there yet. I'm going to try 18. 420 divided by 18. It doesn't go. Let me try 20. And 21 times 20. And 21 minus 20 is 1. So I'm going to split the middle term, and I want a negative one. So I'm going to put the negative with the 21. I think I messed up on that last problem. Sorry. Plus 20x minus 28 is equal to 0. Group my first term, group my last term. My GCF is going to be a 3x, and I get 5x minus 7. I'm going to factor out a 4 and get 5x minus 7. 5x minus 7 times 3x plus 4. Now don't forget, you have to get it equal to 0. So now we have to take each binomial I'm going to add 7 and then divide by 5. So it's 7/5. Subtract 4 and divide by